Sox nation, it's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, up and way home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation, it's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yankee Way. That's when Red Sox nation starts to rock. I'm a member of the Red Sox.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 60 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. For those of you tuning in on Periscope, as always, you can find the podcast within 30 minutes of the conclusion of this broadcast on SoundCloud. It will be available on iTunes by your AM commute. You can also find it on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Player FM, and just Google it like I always say, and it might come up somewhere where I have no idea it's even playing. So you can find it in a multitude of formats. And for everybody watching on Periscope as well, for those of you that don't know, I have to keep my windows shut, fans off for the most part, ACs off for the most part, because this microphone picks up just about everything. And I'm not very good at editing. So it is kind of brutal in here, and I guarantee you I am probably dressed the lightest of my co-hosts. I got my sock shirt up here, my boxers down there, and that is it. That's all I'm wearing for this episode. So with no further ado, my co-host, as always, who is surely more well-dressed than I am, Dave Kwiatkowski. How'd we do this weekend?
We did great. I got my dress moccasins on right now.
Jeez.
I'm feeling really good. Yeah, we had a nice, easy time in DC on the holiday week. It was great. Nice sweep.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was probably the first sweep since the Angel series?
It felt like it, that's for sure. Monday was probably the only close game. We won it 4-3. Porcello pitched a really great game. Kimbrel came in and hammered down the save in the ninth, and then on Tuesday it was a blowout. We won 11-4. We were just kind of throwing everybody at that point. We had Stephen Wright still out, so he couldn't perform. So we had a nice pickup as Roark just got pounded for 6 runs in the fifth and 9 overall. And then on Wednesday, on 4th of July, Erod finally returned to form as he was pitching a gem, 6 innings, only around 80, 90 pitches, but had to be taken out because National Baseball League sucks and you need pitch hit. And we shut him out 3-0.
A lot of talk about a DH lately for that league. I wonder I don't know if you have to wait for the next CBA, which is probably another 3 or 4 years out, or if that could just come.
I'm assuming it's just like any other league rule where you can propose it, and if teams don't hate it and you work it in the minors, quote unquote, then you could probably try it. Yeah. I don't know if they know at this point, besides the baseball purists out there, but in the MLB today, I know not a lot of people are fond of it still.
Right. And a lot of talk that the Red Sox might have ended their season, their playoff run, and that's, it is only July 5th, but they got a lot of guys injured, and they don't even know if they're getting Strasburg back. So I don't know. Do you see them catching the Braves?
No, I think they're all done. Tonight, while we're recording this, it's July 5th, and they were down 9-0 to start the game. Now they're up 14-12. So that's against Miami. So that is an interesting game going on, but I don't think they are going to catch anybody. I saw a stat in the last month, they're like 5-17 going into tonight. They've been awful, or 5-12, something along those lines. They've been awful, and they need to sell. They need to flip Herrera if they can. They need to get rid of Doolittle. They need to move their big names because They are just not performing this year. They have guys underperforming. They have guys hurt, like Strasburg, you mentioned. It's just not all coming together for the Nationals.
Right. Absolutely. And while we're at it, also joining us, as he often does, he is one half of the Double Coverage podcast, which can be found on iTunes. You can find him on Twitter at Cap Hartsfield. Austin Hartsfield, how are you?
I'm good. I thought I was going to be as dressed as you were, and well, I have pants on, so I mean, I guess you win.
Holy shit! And you're in Texas.
I got the AC cranked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. So you're dressed like us in December then.
Yeah, I got my sock shirt on and pants.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, that's all the same shit.
I knew
Nationals need to replenish their farm.
They do, and what better way to do that than put some of those guys on the market?
Yeah, I mean, you got railed in the Eaton deal. I mean, that took out your farm system, half of it by itself. And, I mean, just sell. You're not going to win the division. You're probably not going to be a wild card team. So, I mean, why would you settle for mediocrity? Just be bad.
They may try to wait for Machado to get dealt first, just to kind of see what the market is.
And he lowered his own market today when he came out.
What an idiot.
Manny Machado came out today and said he will not play not play third base on any team. He's a shortstop.
What a moron.
Okay.
So
Well,
that
might have cost him $100 million in free agency. I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, Dave sent it to me as soon as he said it. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I saw it on CBS Sports. Tweeted it today, and I was like, oh, that's just not the smartest thing he's ever done.
No, absolutely not. And I wonder. I don't think he's a Boris guy, but I wonder if his agents kind of had a little pep talk with him. And the Yankees had this with A-Rod back in the day, back when the whole labor union shot down the Red Sox deal that they kind of had in place. He was a shortstop with Texas, and then Cashman asked him if he'd be willing to play third base, to accommodate Jeter, and he was willing to. So
he was also intoxicated when he said he'd play third base.
That's true. I heard that this weekend. It was at some awards?
Yeah, the MVP award ceremony when he was getting his award for being in Texas. And, well,
yeah.
I thought Cashman was joking, and he wasn't.
Cashman's a little smarter than I thought, then.
Y'all gotta remember, this is also the same Manny Machado that threw a bat at Josh Donaldson when Donaldson was in Oakland. Chris, actually, I just did a podcast with Chris, and he reminded me about that. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
so it might be an ego thing.
That same series, he was hitting the catcher with his backswing as well in the head. So, yeah.
I texted earlier today, and I actually said people forget that Manny Machado's a douche half the time.
Yeah. Right. Remember that fight he got in with Giordano Ventura? Rest his soul.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was a wild fight.
Ventura kind of got devoured in that one, but
yeah.
But oh well.
The sad part is the whole AL East is rooting for Ventura, and he just gets his ass.
Yeah. Machado's a big boy, though. I mean, how many dudes are going to win a fight with him? Maybe like a prime Miguel Cabrera.
You're right. Yeah.
There are a few Sox the last couple of years, Ortiz and Hanley. They would have went toe to toe.
Yeah, Joe Kelly would have tried too. He might have went down the same way, but
he might have. But I mean,
prime David Ortiz though.
Ortiz.
He's fought Orioles before.
Yeah, he doesn't really care about that.
It's one of the best Don Orsillo quotes ever. It's time to fight. I'm like, yes, get him.
Yeah,
I love fighting. Well, man, I think it's so great. Not that it's ever really a fight. It's more or less just like yelling and pushing and shoving. But I do like it.
Harper is
like the Harper Strickland fights.
Yeah, those are good fights, or Harper Papelbon fights.
I was just going to mention the Papelbon fight. He did not hold up well in that one.
No, to be fair, I don't think I would have been completely blindsided if my own teammate choked me out while I was walking down the stairs.
All because he didn't run to first base, which pisses me off. That's like my pet peeve. You don't run to first base. It's like John Smoltz said. He would be a terrible manager because he would always just say, don't assume.
Yeah.
But, do you remember how that happened, though? Harper kind of called out Papelbon the night before, I think for beaning, or well, not beaning, but throwing at someone. And
Yeah,
then
because hit next time he's up.
yeah, and then that's what set Papelbon off when Harper didn't run it out. And yeah, I miss Papel. Were you guys fans of Papelbon?
Yeah, it was hard not to be. He was a douche, but he did the job.
He was our douche, though. That's all that matters.
I was a huge fan. I mean, when he was doing that Irish jig in his underwear in the ALCS in 2007, he was like instantly going to be one of my top 5, all-time favorites. One time, I used to have a Papelbon shirt, and I still do. I just can't wear it. It's so tattered. But I used to host a weekly Texas Hold'em game, and I won like 6 out of 9 tournaments with it. Like I went on a run, and I just kept wearing that shirt. I just kept going to it. And then I've told you, I joke that I'm a cribbage player because it's like the nerdiest thing ever. But one time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wear it to a tournament. And I shit you not, I drew seat number 58. So matches the number on my back. I won the tournament, 106 players. So it was like legitimately a lucky shirt, but I just can't wear it anymore. I thought about like maybe wearing it under something and nobody will know I have it on. Like maybe it'll still be lucky, but going back to it, he was just one of my all-time favorites, and I'll say it 100 times over. I would take him in a Game 7 situation in a late inning over Kimbrel every time. Every time. Because
I thought you were going to say like Hoffman or Rivera. I was like, I don't know about that one. And then you said Kimbrel, 100%.
No, Kimbrel for sure, yeah. And I mean, Rivera's the greatest of all time, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then Hoffman's second in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
But as far as Red Sox closers go, he's my guy every time, and he was one of my favorites. I wish it looked like he was just right on the verge of joining us in 2016. And who knows how it would have went because his fastball was so diminished, but
probably poorly.
Yeah. I thought it would have been cool to at least give it a shot, but
I wanted him back for sure. I just didn't think it was going to end well, but I was like, get him back. Can't hurt.
Not all reunions end like Matt Kemp.
Yeah, is he the front runner for MVP right now in the NL?
He's got
to be. Freddie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Former teammate Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you got to think that Kemp, should fade a little bit, but who knows? I mean, we didn't expect him to be this good, and literally anybody could have had him. If they called up and said, "Yo, what do you want for Matt Kemp?" It would have
been like, just take the contract.
A bag of baseballs, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Kemp, you can have him for free. I don't even give you anything.
Yeah, and where would the Dodgers be without him right now?
Oh God, third place.
Not very good.
Back a lot, probably.
Yeah.
Not 33, back like the Orioles, but
Absolutely. So I think this is the furthest off topic we've got in the first segment.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the Red Sox for at least a few minutes, since that's what the audience wants. Devers and Benintendi pretty quiet this series. Nunez made some noise. JD had a phenomenal series. Mookie went deep at least once. So I'm pretty happy with what we've seen offensively.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that are going to go through slumps. Benintendi, since Mookie got back from his injury, when Benintendi was carrying the squad, he's cooled off a good amount, but that's going to happen. And you guys know people are going to go up and down. But for the most part, I think we're hitting really well. The bottom of the lineup has been starting to hit better. Sandy's been okay. JBJ's turned it around a little bit. Nunez has been better. You have Devers, who's starting to hit the ball a little bit harder into gaps and stuff. He's taking a few more walks. He actually had one error this series, but made another great play after that in foul territory. So I tweeted that earlier this week that people get on Devers for his defense, don't watch enough baseball games per month, because month to month he's become a great not a great defender, but a much better defender, and he's second in the league for defensive assists at third base this year.
Well, he's making leaps and bounds at third base since the beginning of the year when he had that little rough stretch to begin it. But y'all have officially swayed me. I'm officially a Sandy Leon guy.
Yeah.
There we go. With Devers, though, remember how bad Bogarts was that first year, and Napoli was
Yes.
just